All right, the Reds, Happy New Year. It is Live at 5 with me, Gareth Roberts, and him, Paul Cope, talking about the mighty Reds being fucking mighty. They were great against Newcastle. It should have been about 9-0. It was only 4-2, and loads of bellends are fuming about penalties that were definitely penalties. Alan Shearer, bellend. Gary Neville, bellend. Lads, the both penalties. Lads, Liverpool twatted Newcastle. Newcastle were not in the game. It's the biggest game ever for the most XG or some madness. 7.2 for Liverpool. Liverpool had 9 big chances. They only scored 4 of them. It would have been an absolute travesty to get anything other than a Liverpool victory. And yet we have bald people saying things are fucking embarrassing. And I'm talking about you, Mr. Alan Shearer. We've heard from someone in the build-up to the show. Let's call him Bert. Definitely not his name. And he sent me a message, Bert, just saying, get stuck into...
Do you reckon Bert will know who they are before you even start saying it?
Hiya, Bert. Sent me a message to saying, you know, like, should get stuck into Shearer on your show. If you haven't seen, he's labelled Jota as fucking embarrassing, I quote, regarding the penalty. And Bert has said... Bert has said...
I can't wait for you to accidentally say his name.
Bert has said outspoken on a penalty, but minces his words on sports washing, having taken a 25 grand sweetener from PIF for his charity. That's fucking embarrassing. Yeah, so have that, Shearer. We know that he's a Geordie. We know that he's a Newcastle fan, and ultimately that's what's coming out here, isn't it? Let's be honest. It's the same with Neville. Like I think Neville now is reaching parody of himself stage. He shouldn't be on Liverpool matches because he's a knob about Liverpool on the regular. You don't even need to go and look up the clips. You don't even need, he's done it enough times now. And like, if it's meant to be some kind of act or whatever, I don't think it's funny anymore. Do you know what I mean? And like, he's just so far away from being impartial. It's unbelievable. And it's like, he's supposed to be analysing it. You know what I mean? And for me, he's not able to do it because his hatred for the Reds just comes pouring out. I mean, it's quite funny that we get to, drink his tears on the regular. Like, the Reds are top of the league. The Reds are deservedly top of the league. And the Reds look like finally a side that should be there. I mean, I think that's the first thing to say on this show after now I'm done with ripping everyone. All season long, really, we've sort of been saying, there's this or there's that, or they haven't quite done this, or they've been a bit fortunate, or they found a way to win. They fucking battered Newcastle, didn't they? Out of sight.
Yeah, absolutely battered them. And it is, we were chatting about this before we came on, and we have to constantly have to go, let's talk about this on the show. But it's mad. I'm just finding, and I know we live in a weird world now, and it's all about fucking generating headlines and tweets and impressions and fucking advertising revenue and all this fucking bollocks. And everybody's got extreme views about everything. But it's like, I don't understand why everyone's so fucking up in arms about one penalty. Some people up in arms about 2 penalties in a game in which we absolutely twatted them. Do you know what I mean? Like the statistics are like when it's record XG. Like, we should have won on XG, we should have won that game 7-0. And we won 4-2. And people are fucking moaning about a pen. There was defo a foul. And he went down too late. Fuck off.
Who's asked?
Why? I don't understand why these people can't just go, well, it's irrelevant.
Yeah.
It's irrelevant. We got battered. Yeah. We should have lost. We did lose. No point talking about it. You look like you're crying when you deservedly got beat, and because that's what you are doing. Stop fucking doing it.
Yeah, indeed. Thank you to a few people who've thrown in today already. Adam Hetherington, thank you. Neil McEnemy.
It's easy for you to say.
I butchered that, didn't I? Thank you, mate. Philip McPhee. Happy New Year to you. Love the podcast. Look forward to seeing the Mighty Reds winning the Premier League. Go on, Phil. That's the kind of talk that we like. Yeah, I mean, the Reds in this game were so dominant, as Paul Joyce said in his report today, that they made 355 passes in Newcastle's half, of which 209 were in the final third. The away side's tallies read 134 and 56, respectively. Very, very, very satisfying from my point of view. I was at the match. I loved the match. It was great. It was real sort of feel good coming out to the ground and into the pub. Everyone was absolutely buzzing. And just nice now as well to beat these, Saudi-funded pretenders. I mean, once upon a time it was just Newcastle, but, they're doing what they're doing. They're doing it holding hands of the people they're holding hands with. And it's just nice to be able to say, back in your box, lads.
Yeah, and do you know what? Like, I know this show isn't about this, and we've talked about this on our other TLC shows, but even that thing you've just said about Shearer taking 25 grand from the PIF for his charity, it just shows you how fucking insidious this whole fucking thing is. Do you know what I mean? Because you don't see that. You don't hear about this stuff. But how many of those fucking donations do you think they've made? How many 25 grand payments have been made behind the scenes to people's charities that makes those people go, well, I won't criticise them then. You talk about things being a disgrace and fucking, it's unbelievable that this goes on and no one talks about it. No one talks about it.
I know. Well, everyone just gets bored of it, don't they? Which is what tends to happen with these things. It's like, talked about it.
Funnily enough, how many people in the media are getting bored of it when they're getting 25 grand backhanders to their charity?
Exactly. It's also like,
bored of this. Let's put it away now. Let's see if there's any money going in your direction from the fucking state.
It's like Eddie Howe can talk about a tree getting knocked down, but he can't talk about the Saudis. Funny that.
I love that. Yeah.
Funny
Have you got your? Can we have your opinion on a random tree in the middle of the country? Yeah, I'll give you my opinion on that.
No problem. Yeah.
What about sports washing from a country with a terrible human rights record? No, that's not my.
I'm just a football manager.
A football manager. Stick to football.
Lots of good performances in this match. Diaz, Curtis, Endo. The subs were great as well, weren't they? Jota coming on and just making things happen. No fucking around. He's not fucking embarrassing. He's fucking brilliant. Doing so just at the right time. I love the way I think it's Curtis's goal, isn't it? He like demands the ball. He bursts forward with it. He makes it happen. Do you know what I mean? Like that. There's no fucking about with Jota, is there?
No, do you know what I mean? It's funny you say about the subs because I don't know how you felt in the ground, but I wasn't happy with the subs when they were made, and it's important. I was thinking about this.
The Diaz one was strange, wasn't it? Because he was playing well.
Well, it's important that I say this, even though they went well, because I often talk about this. Like, we judge things based on outcomes, and it's important I say at the time we made those subs, I thought Klopp had got it wrong because, okay, Núñez was missing chances, but him and Diaz were causing them a lot of fucking problems. Like, I know we've at least been called Captain Chaos and all that, and Klopp defended him after the game again, like saying how important he is and how his contribution to the way we're set up, and the reason he was did you see that interview? The reason he was in the team was to occupy both centre-backs and keep them high up the pitch, and it allowed us space to play, He was delighted with him, even though we didn't score, and he referenced the calmness for teeing up Mo in the heat of all that. But I thought at that moment, we were flying, we were battering them. Núñez and Diaz were causing them all kinds of problems, and we took them off, and I was like, don't think that was the right time for that. But the caveat to that is, when you're bringing on Diogo Jota for anybody, he's just a fucking machine, isn't he? Like, he does make things happen. He is. It's funny, like it's great that he's come back just as Salah's going, because he is that level of experienced player that is like, I'll box this for you, lads. I'll score the important goals. Don't you worry about it.
I really liked I mentioned Tracy already, but I liked his piece in the Times today because, as I said at the top of the show there, it's felt like the overwhelming narrative all season long is that, Liverpool have found themselves at the top of the league somehow by accident. And so a nice bit of appreciative prose in the Times today from Joycey. I thought it was good to read in my hungover state this morning. So I just thought I'd share the wealth. So he says it started, as it so often does, with Curtis Jones. Then there was Luis Diaz, Dominic Szoboszlai and Joe Gomez, and also Wataru Endo. Tino Livramento, Newcastle United's young right back, proved the object of their affection as he sought to dribble away from his own penalty area with a posse of opponents breathing down his neck, all within 5 yards of the defender, all seeking to conquer the ball, as Jurgen Klopp had outlined that as unveiling as manager back in 2015, each fucking time. Somehow, Livramento managed to knock a pass through the throng, so Ibrahima Konate stepped up and ushered Alexander Isaac back down a cul-de-sac to where Gomez won possession of the striker, and then Lewis Miley, before prodding the pass to Jones. There was nothing that Anthony Gordon could do but commit a foul to halt his opponent. Less than 5 minutes had elapsed. Newcastle had completed only 6 passes to Liverpool's 28, and the tone had been set. And Klopp afterwards said, the counter-pressing that we played today was absolutely exceptional. It was a school video. If you want to do it, then you have to show this video. A lot of people tell me when my behaviour is not great and say it's not good for grassroots football. Okay, but if grassroots wants to play counter-press, then watch that video. It would be really helpful. I think all of that's like just so spot on. That's how it felt in the ground. Like they were really hungry, and like it was a grim, horrible night, cold, raining. You know what I mean? It was a weird time to have a game of footy. I don't really know why it was at 8 o'clock on New Year's Day. It should have been earlier, but you know, thanks again to the TV companies for not giving a shite about people who go to the match. And there was a small part of me when I was walking up to the ground thinking, we should definitely beat these because they're shite. We should definitely beat these because they've lost 12 football games this season. We should definitely beat them because they're crap at Anfield, etc., etc. But there's a part of me going, don't like these conditions, don't like this time. You know, is this going to seep into the players' mindset at all? And like, there was none of that. They were like, you know, they were like a dog all over a stick from the first whistle. Like,
yeah, I think it bodes really well. We've touched on this in the past, and we've talked about Salah and his like influence. That whole performance looked to me like a side that was saying we want to win the league.
Yeah,
that's it. No messing around now. We know we know our star man's going away for a month. We're going to leave on a fucking performance. Did you see his post-match interview on Sky, by the way, Salah's?
No.
It was great in so many ways. Like, Carragher and Dave Jones were interviewing him. And he even said, like, you know, I went off at half time and I'd missed the pen. And I just basically said, he said, I asked myself, is this the way I want it? Is this the performance I want to go away to international duty on? No, it's not. So I'll sort that out then. And I'm like, what a player that is. Do you mean that he can go, right, I'm going to go out in the second half and step it up another level here? And he even said he changed his boots at half time. And Carragher said, was that because you missed? And he went, I could feel it getting in my head, basically. So it's just not worth the risk. Take them off, change your boots, don't think about it again. I was like, he's unbelievable. But he had that look in his eye again. Joe, that we're going to win the league. These can fucking box it while I'm off on international duty, and I'm going to come back and we're just going to win every game. He even said that. They went, what you do next time? We'll just win every game. I was like, and that's the thing now. That to me, if I was Man City watching this, and Neville did say this in fairness, I've got more of a generous view of Neville, I think, than you, because I think he is reasonable towards Liverpool at times. And obviously, I think it's just impossible for that, you know, for the Man Unitedness not to come out. Yeah. So you can be as reasonable as you want to be, but like the Jota thing, it just fucking oozed out of him. He couldn't help it. But I've lost my thread. What I was talking about now? He was talking about City and the title race, and Pep Guardiola won't want to go up against us. And we were saying this last week because he knows of all the teams involved in this potential 5-horse race, Jurgen Klopp knows how to beat him. We have beaten him. We've looked them straight in the eye in this head-to-head and gone, we'll do ya. And that performance, that attitude from Salah was, I think it was us going, we know the second half of the season has got to be better than the first half of the season for us to win the league. Because for us to win the league based on what we've done, we'd finish on 84 points. And I think we all think now, City have come, I think we'd have all liked them to come back. Of course, we'd have liked it. We were all half hoping that Everton would take points off them. They've been to the World Club Cup. They've come back. Remember when the year we did that and we came back and we won? Everyone was like, fuck. Everyone now is looking at them going, They've got De Bruyne's back from injury. Second half of the season, they'll be sprinting faster. And I always talked about this when we've been in 2 horse races with them before. It's that thing where you're in a long distance race and you're just neck and neck with them all the time. And they're looking at us going, are you not going to fuck off? And we're like, no, we're not. This race this year, we know in the second half of the race, we've got to run faster than we did in the first half. And that was the perfect performance for that.
100%. And we are top of the league. We are, to all intents and purposes, unbeaten. Because, the only one we lost was Spurs. No, you let it go. We are 45 points, 3 points ahead of Aston Villa in second. Third, Man City. We played a game less. They are on 40 points. And Arsenal, after their shite Christmas, which was great for us, they now sit fourth, played 25 points off Liverpool. And then Spurs are back in fifth on 39 points with 3 points that they shouldn't have. No, you let it go. So where does that make the odds now? City still favourites, odds on to win the title, but Liverpool now second favourites at 9-4 for the title. Arsenal 15-2, Villa 28-1, and Tottenham 33-1. And Gary Neville, where are Man United, lads? Hey, where are they? 500-1 to win the title. So you get your own house in order, you mank.
Something else I want to point out again, and I mentioned it through the weekend, it's becoming even more prominent now for a tight title race, the goal difference, where we might be 5 points ahead of Arsenal, but we're also 8 goals ahead of them now. That's big, because Joe said it before, I'll say it again. By the time you get to the end of the season, you finish level on points, your goal difference is a point. Notice that us and City are around about the same.
Yeah. I mean, that's what everyone was talking about in the pub afterwards as well. Everyone was saying, like, bring on City. Like, City have got to come to Anfield.
Exactly.
We've done the hard part. We've gone there. So they've got to come to Anfield now. And we know what it'll be like. We know they don't like it. We know Pep hates it. We know he starts shaking his fist at the moon and all the rest of it. So it's interesting. It's very interesting, to quote a famous piece of commentary there. And as we said earlier, Liverpool absolutely dominated. The expected goals, 7.27, the highest XG on record since 2010-11 in a single Premier League game. We had 34 shots to Newcastle's 5. 62% of the possession, whatever sort of stat you want to pull up, Liverpool absolutely dominated the game, and there was no doubt about who should have been and was the winner. Got to give Andrew Beasley a shout out. His regular slot in the show. We'll have to start paying him or something. The way we always do this. He's appreciative. I can't speak today after this aisle. Appreciative of it, though. He always tweets us back and says thanks for the mention. So here's another one. He says today, Salah and Núñez have linked up for 35 big chances in their 18 months together. The same total as Firmino and Salah in their last 5 seasons together. On that, look, we're all full of positivity. We're all saying Liverpool have got a great chance of winning the title. They've put down a statement performance against Newcastle. They've shown everyone what they're about. Okay, there's some worries about, Salah's getting off, Endo's getting off, who was superb. On the Núñez thing, I get that he's loved, and I get that people like him, and I get that people like the spirit, and I get how he causes teams problems, but fuck me, he's got to put some of these chances away. It is infuriating, and I like to try and be honest on these shows, and I was tearing my fucking hair out when he goes through and just hits it at the keeper. It's like, what's the plan to score there, mate? You haven't lifted it, you haven't put it in the corner. It's just a crap finish, and that has got to be some kind of concern for a fella who ultimately could be, if we pay all the extras, will be the club record signing, won't it?
Yeah, the only thing that worries me about it is, and maybe they, Pep Linders and Klopp would come up and go, of course we are knobhead. But I worry what are they doing on the training ground? He's literally in a squad with Diogo Jota and Mo Salah. Surely I've heard other pundits talk about this. I think Daniel Sturridge was talking about this a few weeks ago. He needs to develop his own finish. If you look at if you look at how Núñez approaches things compared to Isaac's chance, Isaac Chance, leave it on the commentary. It just looked like Thierry Henry. You know,
Yeah, it was a good finish.
Run round the ball, slotted in that corner. You knew what he was going to try and do. Goalie knew what he was going to try and do. Couldn't stop him because he fucking executed it really well. Nunes just doesn't look like he's got that other than hit it as hard as you can. And that's worked for him a few times. But I'd like to think, but it doesn't look like there is at this moment in time. They're doing a lot of work on the training ground, on calm finishing, you know, find whatever his finish is, whatever his technique is, and evolve that somehow. But it doesn't look like that's happening right now. Or maybe we're just not seeing the fruits of
well, the weird thing about that point, though, is that, you know, Newcastle away this season, he obviously comes off the bench, wins Liverpool the game against the odds. Obviously, you know, we were a man down, etc. And the finishes that day were outstanding. And I remember there being a line. I think it might have been something Neil Jones wrote that I read around the time, and it said, literally what you're saying. It said they'd been working on his finishing,
yeah,
and like, you know, and this was the fruits of the labour type of thing. And it's like, well, what's happened now? Has he regressed? Like, you know, what's going on in his head? Like, I do wonder about that, because, you know, there's been hints, even in how he's acted, and like he came off social media, I think, at one point and things like that. Obviously, like, he got red carded earlier on in his career. I wonder about, you know, his mental state, maybe.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And
temperament.
And whether he should be sitting down with he might be anyway, but, you know, whether he should be sitting down with the psychologist a little bit more.
I think there is something in that, you know, because a huge part, look, you anyone who's ever heard us talk on this show or elsewhere about Salah knows how much we fucking love Salah. That's nothing special compared to all other Liverpool fans. Well, most of the Liverpool fans, there are still those lunatics who for some reason don't rate him. But I mean, as time goes on, I find myself less and less able to comprehend anyone who says anything other than he's a fucking all-time great. But the thing I love about him is his psychology, like how calm he is about everything. Like,
including taking another pen.
Well, they asked him that, like, on Sky, and his reaction is always fucking hilarious, and he knew it would be. You knew what his reaction was going to be before they asked him the question. Like, they said to him, was there any doubt in your mind that you would take that second pen? He looked at them like, what?
Yeah.
No. Why would there be a doubt in my mind that I would take the second pen? Not bothered one bit. I have chances, I miss chances, I score chances. That's my job. But he's very calm about it all. Nunes still has that demeanour of getting in his own head about it. And I think that's the thing that needs work on. Like, it's okay, mate, if you've missed one. You don't need to snatch at the second. But I think that's what Klopp was trying to get the focus on, is that if there was a real problem, he wouldn't have had the presence of mind to just roll that ball to Salah for the goal.
I mean, look, you know, there's no doubt about it that, like, he's useful and he is part of a team that has reached the top of the league and is staying at the top of the league and has established a lead at the top of the league. But I think there's nothing wrong in saying, well, bloody hell, he should be scoring more. He should be putting some of these chances away. Because, you know, I seen a tweet today. I don't know this person. It just popped up on Twitter and thought it was interesting. So WhoScored.com had put out a tweet earlier today saying Darwin Núñez has now missed more big chances, 18, than any other player in the Premier League this season. And it was quote tweeted by a fella who's presumably a Red. Well, he is a Red. A fella called Farrell Keelan, who put, the neutral's obsession with Darwin Núñez is really quite bizarre. I'm not sure I've seen anything quite like it. He misses chances fine, but he's currently registering a goal or assist every 96.43 minutes. I don't think...
Which is basically one a game in the current...
So sound, like, okay. So, you know, there's some output evidence. But to say that there's a neutral obsession, mate... We've paid potentially a club record fee for a fella to score goals, and he's not scoring when he's having really good chances. He had 3 big chances yesterday. So that's not unfair, therefore, to say he should be scoring. That's just a football conversation that's gone on for as long as we've been football fans. I don't think it's I don't get why Liverpool fans have got to be like chippy about criticism of Núñez. I think he deserves criticism regarding his finishing. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, because he's missed a lot of chances that you would expect a forward of his standing in the game and the fee we paid for him and everything else to score.
I think the problem is there's too many games like yesterday. I think the difference between him and someone like a Salah is Salah might miss 3 in a game, but he'll score 1. And as long as you've got your goal,
no one's bothered.
No one's that bothered.
Yeah,
and I think he's had too many. I think he's had too many games where I haven't really thought about this. So I'm thinking as I speak. I think he's had too many games where he's had a number of big chances and has left the pitch without scoring a goal. And I think that's his difficulty. If he'd have scored one of those chances yesterday, I think everyone would have brushed over the others. But it's because he's leaving the pitch. And I think that's his frustration with being subbed. I think he's said what he's being annoyed about is, but if you leave me on that pitch, I'll score.
I'll get one in the end.
And if I get one, you'll all fucking shut up about the others then. But I'm with you as well, mate. Like there is the middle ground of it's okay to say he should be scoring more of his chances. My big thing, and I'll stay. If we're still like this in the middle of next season, then I might start to, change on this point. But for me, the fact that he's had 18 big chances is huge. Rasmus Højlund hasn't had 18 big chances that he's missed. And it's because he's not contributing to their fucking team as much as they're crap as well. And it's worth repeating that as often as we can.
Yeah, but the Manx are crap.
Nunes is contributing to a Liverpool team that's top of the league.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's missing big chances, but at least he's getting in the positions to have the chances. And in fairness to him, he's the one creating a lot of the chances through his presence.
Yeah.
There was a couple yesterday where they even acknowledged this on the telly. If it wasn't him, he wouldn't have got the chance in the first place. Do you know, if it had been Gakpo, we wouldn't have had the chance because it was through his presence.
Gakpo miss it as, by the way. And it goes in.
When that went in, I did think to myself, that is typical of football, that, isn't it? That one comes off Gakpo studs and goes in. He even goes to follow it and then goes, it's going in.
Yeah.
I'm sound. Nunes could do with a couple of them, couldn't he, where he just miss-hits a couple. Even Newcastle's goal, the second goal, comes off the fella's shoulder. Nunes miss-hit a couple and you're like, he could just do with one of them going in.
Oh, he scored against Burnley, didn't he? And that was, it was a good goal.
Great goal.
And he scores a cracker at Bournemouth and all that.
But Burnley, I think this is what's confusing people, and I think that's why it's annoying people. The goal against Burnley, it's like, use that technique then. Joey side foots it from the fucking edge of the box, basically. Lovely finish. Why isn't he using that technique when he's one-on-one with the goalie? Mm-hmm. Why isn't he rounding the keeper? Why isn't, Jota comes on. When Jota's one-on-one with that goalie, I'm like, I'm watching it going. He's going to go round him.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll remain a talking point, no doubt, and plenty of people there in the comments, of course, defending him because people always do. So, lots of people saying, George, they're saying he's a top player, he will come good. Loads of comments in before the show as well over on Twitter. I'll read a few of them out. Dave Molyneux, not a bad player on the pitch last night, but special mentions to Endo and Gomez. Superb performances in difficult conditions. Dubbers said Jones and Gomez were outstanding last night. Thought Diaz had his best game for us in quite a while too. And perhaps Jones facilitated this. Other people as well, sort of Dave Marney here says, I can't believe how wrong I was with Endo. Superb again, but great to see Maka back. Shout out for Curtis Jones. Jota will carry the torch with Mo away in Egypt. He also talks there about Mo's game to goal ratio, which we've mentioned lots of times. A goal every 1.58 league games, only bettered by Gordon Hodgson for Liverpool in terms of players with 100 plus goals. Dave Olar says Nunes, I'm all in on him. Still a few lads not on board with him in my circles. Thoughts? Well, we just did that, didn't we? So we don't have to do that again. I like this one. Donna, he says, Trent's shot that hit the bar would have been up there with Van Basten 88 if it had gone in. Unreal effort. It was, wasn't it? Like, that was some angle to even attempt that from.
Are we saying he was having a shot?
Yeah. The power definitely. He put on that. That's not a cross.
Yeah, I guess.
He absolutely tonked it.
Yeah, I guess so.
Mo Salah, we've already mentioned. I pulled a few stats and facts out like I always do. Since joining Liverpool in 27-18, Mo Salah has failed to convert more Premier League penalties than any other player. 6, indeed, only Gerrard, 9, and Owen, 7 have missed more penalties in the competition for Liverpool. Are you all right with them being on pens? Because in the ground, and the people who are around me, and I'll include myself, I'll be honest, there's a thing about him and his pens. Like, he scores more than he misses, obviously, but there's always like an uncertainty around it, I think. It's not like, you know, if you think about everyone you've ever seen take penalties for Liverpool, like, go way back to when I first started going, Molby was unbelievable, like, and like he'd come up and take a pen and you'd just be like, goal, no worries. Milner was decent, wasn't he? Do you know what I mean? And like that certainty you had, I don't feel that certainty about Mo, which is maybe harsh, but I just don't. I can't. Again, like I said before, I just try and be honest on it, and I can't lie. I love the fella, and like, unbelievable goals for Liverpool, unbelievable stats, unbelievable player. Glad he's still here. Glad he didn't fuck off to Saudi. But still, when he's coming up and taking those pens, I'm a bit like,
I think it's mad. He's been through a proper like arc with it, because when he first signed for us, this is how I used to feel about his pens. They were very erratic and he would miss some. And then it felt like he went through a spell of a few years where he just nailed them all, like he'd got over it. And I think we all felt comfortable again. And then he's just gone back through a spell now where he's missing more. So we're all back to being uncomfortable with it. And considering who he is and his goal scoring record and what I said before, I'm just not convinced about his technique on pens.
Yeah,
I always feel like a bit like he's mishitting them.
Yeah, he's not the
mean?
cleanest with them sometimes, is he? And but equally, like I've just seen someone saying there, like, good luck telling him he's off the pens.
But honestly, whoever said that, that's what I was sitting here thinking. Like, when you say to me, would I have him on pens? I think my answer is, I wouldn't, but I wouldn't be the fella who told him.
I know.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
because I'd get someone else to tell him.
Because he's aware, you know, we love his like supreme confidence, don't we? And you were saying about what he was like in interviews. Equally, if you think about managing a player like that, like, how would you have the conversation? Like, you know, he'd be fucking fuming.
There's
wouldn't
no
he?
way.
You think about like all the games he plays. I think that's another that's another sort of like insight into him. I think the manager will not want to play him in loads of these games that he plays.
Yeah.
But he's going, don't fucking drop me, mate.
Yeah.
I want to play.
Yeah.
I want to score. I want to break every record that's going. I want to, you know, and like, he, you know, so going to him, listen, mate, not sure about your, you know, your technique and the cleanliness of strikes on your penalties there, Mo, so you're off them. He'd
tell you to fuck off. He would. Honestly, I could see Mo Salah saying, I'll leave then. I'll leave. Because we are, again, Joe, this conversation's going to come around. It's January. I saw someone saying the other day, not sure there was any basis for it, but saying there's no chance he'll leave in January, but obviously the summer comes. We'll
have the bullshit. Like.
We're going to have all the stories. And then even if he does stay, we've got the summer and he's only got 1 year left on his contract come the summer. So from a business perspective, you've got to then make the decision. Do you offer him another contract? Now, I was saying in the summer gone, the fact that Saudi Arabia is there, I think he should get out of jail free card. So if I'm the club, I offer him another 3 or 4 year contract on the same terms he's on now, which I would never normally do in the past because at his age, he could drop off a cliff at any point. But the reality is, you've got your backup of Saudi Arabia will still want him in 3 years. So if his form does drop off, which I don't think it will because of his unbelievable physical condition, you've got your backup plan. So I'd offer him a new contract. But I could imagine saying to him, do you want a new contract? And he'd be like, I'm still on pens, yeah. I want it written into my contract. I'm on pens.
Someone saying he doesn't miss any. I've already said, mate, he's missed 6 in the Premier League. 23 out of 29 is his record in the Premier League. So he has missed some. So, you know, it's not unfair. I get like that people are unbelievably like rose tinted about their own footy team and their own players, but some of it's just factual, isn't it?
He's missed some. We can't criticise other managers and other clubs for being biased towards their own team and then not try and be a bit balanced on here. Like, you literally read out the stat before. Only Steven Gerrard and Michael Owen have missed more penalties in the Premier League than Liverpool for Liverpool than Salah. He's missed. That's it. He scored 23 out of 29. That's not a great ratio, as you say, in comparison to the greats at penalty taking. And the reality was, Milner's record is well better than 23 out of 29 percentage-wise, wasn't it?
I don't know what it was. I mean,
we'd have to look. I think Milner missed one.
Yeah, I mean, Mulby's was unbelievable. Remember, Mulby got an hat-trick, didn't he, of pens in a game.
I think the question becomes, who takes them if it's not him? It's different when Milner was still there, because Milner was almost a guarantee of a goal.
Yeah, Mulby missed 3 out of 42.
Oh, there you go.
93.3% success rate. Although, obviously, Soz, John, but we missed the famous one, but he had a 94.4% success rate from the spot. Someone's just give us 25 nicker. Thanks very much, Mark Browell. 25 quid up the Mad Reds. We've got to work out how we get that though at some point.
I was just going to say to you,
because it just seems to be
that though. Like, it's just collecting somewhere.
Yeah, it's just collecting in YouTube. And they asked us for an address. Why am I doing admin on air? I don't even know. But yeah, we need to sort that. But yeah, thanks very much to everyone who does throw in on these shows. And at some point, we will have a pint.
Collect it.
We will have a pint at some point on the basis of all of this. Liverpool also had 18 attempts on goal in the first half against Newcastle, only against Leicester in December 2015 when they had 20. They had more shots in the opening 45 minutes of a Premier League game on record without scoring. So there's a little bit of that, isn't there? I mean, look, I was made up with the performance. Attacking-wise, it was absolutely brilliant. We win 4-2. We're top of the league. We sent out a statement, but can't help glass half full going, fucking should have been 9-0. Do you know what I mean?
Well, not only just that. I think if we're going to win the league, we need to start putting teams to bed early, especially when we've got a lot of games coming up. We need to be able to, we should have been going into half-time 3-0 up, and that would have made the second half a lot easier. And okay, we still got to change a lot of players and stuff like that, but we're still having to play frantic football for 96, 100 minutes when we know what City are like. City are like a machine when they click into gear. They're 1-0 up after 2 minutes. They're 3-0 up after half an hour.
It's boring.
It's boring, but they don't put as much energy into winning football matches. And that's important when you've got loads of football matches to play. So I think that is the big thing for me. We've had too many games now where we're not clinical enough. And it's funny, we've got this weird thing. I even mentioned the other week, and then you said we've got the best defence in the league. I don't know whether that's still the case. I guess it still is, because Arsenal got beat twice, didn't they? But we've either got the best or one of the best defence in the league. But I'm still not 100%.
18 goals conceded.
I'm still not 100% convinced by our defence. I still feel like there's a...
Newcastle shouldn't be getting anywhere near scoring, should they?
Exactly, they scored 2.
And Gordon's just far too easily goes past a couple, plays the ball through. It was an easy goal, if you like.
Yeah,
a soft
I feel like
one
there's
to
too
be
much
given
of
away.
that.
Yeah.
And even the Dan Burn header, when you watch that back, I don't question.
That other goal?
No, the one that got disallowed.
Oh, right, okay.
When you watch it back, and I've defended Trent. I love Trent. I think he's fucking phenomenal. I think he's a much better defender than most people in the media give him credit for. But he's awful on that. And it's funny because he's jogging back 10 yards behind Dan Burn. Dan Burn nods it in, and straight away Trent puts his hand up as if to say, I know that's offside. You're like, mate, he's offside by 3 inches.
Yeah.
That's fucking lucky. That's not... I'll defend us to the hilt when we're playing teams offside and they're going on and putting the ball in the net, and I'm always like, that's bullshit, doesn't count. But when you're catching someone offside by 3 inches, it's luck, not fucking judgment. And I worry a little bit about that, and I worry a little bit that we're not being clinical enough at the other end of the pitch. But I'm more optimistic that will improve as Nunes, for example, will get better as the season progresses. I'd put money on that. Diaz, that's his best game for months.
Yeah, definitely.
Jota's back. Okay, we're missing Salah for a month, but he'll come good. He'll come back and he's flying. Gakpo got a goal. I feel like we'll get stronger as the season goes on now.
Just to do the penalties thing, because there's lots of chat about penalties in the chat, and obviously you referenced what was Milner's record and all that kind of thing. Mulby was 45 penalties, scored 42. Aldo was took 18 for Liverpool, scored 17.
Aldo.
I know. I did an event with him, and like, you know, you can tell, like, even all of these years on, like, it still fucking pisses him off so much.
It would if that was the only one you missed.
I know. Gerrard took 57 pens for Liverpool, scored 47. So a success rate of 82.5. Then we've got Phil Neal, 51 penalties, scored 38.
That's mad. You'd think Phil Neal had a well better record than that, wouldn't you?
Milner, he took 21 penalties for Liverpool and he scored 19.
That's what we missed too.
Yeah. So there you go.
So that is, I mean, that is the other question. Like, saying you take him off penalties implies you've got someone who'd have a better conversion rate than him. And I know, don't get me wrong, before people start shouting at me in the comments, I know we've got other lads who do take penalties and can take penalties, but taking them for Liverpool in pressured situations and beating that conversion rate is not a given, is it?
No.
So there's lots to it.
I don't think there's a load of players queuing up to take them either, to be honest with you, right now.
So Boslai's up there, isn't he? I think
you'd imagine
there's people talking about he would take them. But other than that, because that is a good question, isn't it? Who would you have them if you don't have Salah?
If he's not it, well, and he's literally going away, isn't he? So who's going to take them now? Someone there saying, you know, what's Trent like on pens, which is what one of my mates was saying as well in the ground. No idea, to be honest with you.
Well, you'd think he'd be great, but it's not just about your technique, is it?
I know. Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens if we get one while he's away. Maybe Núñez will take him.
I could see Núñez being good, you know. But we should talk about. I need to talk about the pen, the Jota pen.
Oh yeah,
more than we did at the start.
Yeah, because there's the uproar, the manufactured uproar.
I just don't fucking get it. I didn't even get it as I was watching it. Like Neville, as soon as he went down, Neville on the commentary was going, no. And then you saw like all this fucking. I don't get it. Even Carragher in the studio was like, I don't understand why he'd go down. And you're like, yes, mate. Why would he go down? If he could have just easily knocked it in, he clearly... it baffles me that there are ex-elite professional footballers.
Yeah, Sheila saying it's fucking embarrassing. You got Ian Wright saying would rather go down for a penalty than put the ball in an empty net. I've seen it all.
But not one of them saying, acknowledging the fact, which everybody says who's sensible, if you're running at full speed... And bear in mind, he's not running in a straight line. He's running at full speed and he's changed direction to run diagonally and his heel gets clipped. Surely everybody who's reasonable goes, yeah, that's enough to make you fall over when you're running at full speed and you're running diagonally and you've changed direction. Yeah, all right, he takes 2 more steps or what? So what? Like, he's got every right to hit the deck. It's a fucking penalty. He's fouled. I
know, I don't get it really. I mean, sometimes I do think with the footy media, and we've talked about it a lot, haven't we, on these shows, that it just feels sometimes that, you know, there's got to be something controversial, even if there isn't.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, we've got to have something that we debate over and over again. Here's Jamie Redknapp getting faux anger about X, Y, and Z. I hate when he does that, by the way. That every time he's on and he starts doing that voice and the passion thing, I just have to go and make a brew. I just can't stand it. It just absolutely does me Sweden. Someone there, yeah, it was a Stonewall penalty, says John. Yeah, I don't really get it, to be honest with you. Got to give a shout out to Mo as well. We've done a lot of chat about whether he's any good at penalties or not, but he's now scored 150. He's gone past the 150 Premier League goals mark for Liverpool, becoming just the 5th player to reach this milestone for a single club in the competition after Harry Kane, Aguero, Rooney and Thierry Henry.
Have all the people who were saying we should have sold him gone quiet now for a bit?
I think so. I genuinely haven't seen that anywhere lately. One of my mates was you know, we should be appreciative of Mo, and we always are, aren't we? One of my mates was having a bit of a moan about him yesterday, saying, touch my head in like how good he is that he doesn't do more with his other foot. And I was just like,
fucking hell.
Bloody hell, lad. Do you know what I mean?
Expectations.
I know, yeah. Look what he's done for us. Look how many goals he scored. Come on. Do you know what I mean?
What does he want him to do with his other foot? Score another 100 goals?
Yeah. I think
cross, by the way, with the outside of his left boot.
Beautiful.
It's unreal.
Yeah, quality. I wanted to mention, just getting wary of time, the FA Cup, because obviously that's the next game, isn't it? We are away to Arsenal on Sunday.
Well, this is the interesting thing about the games he misses, potentially. Like, half of them are cup games.
Yeah. Yeah, so we've got Arsenal on Sunday. Then we've got followed, so 7th of January, Arsenal v Liverpool. 10th of January, Wednesday the 10th of January, we've got Fulham in the first leg of the semi-final of the League Cup. Then we've got Bournemouth in the league away. And then we go to Fulham for the second leg. Then Chelsea at home, Arsenal away. And then Burnley at home. But on that FA Cup one, I saw a tweet from Henry Jackson earlier today. He said, "Call me small time or lacking in ambition, but I can give or take the FA Cup at this point. If we beat Arsenal, great, but really not fussed if we go out. Premier League takes precedence by a mile, then the Europa League, then the League Cup because we're in the semis." How do you feel about it?
I was already saying, and I listened to Gary Neville getting a lot of shout outs today, but listening to his podcast on the way over today, as I tend to do, and he was saying it's a nice one to go out of. You know, it's an easy one to go, oh, we had Arsenal away, you got knocked out, yeah. Frees up a bit of time. And he made a good point as well, which leaves them in it. You know, more games for them to play when we get a bit of rest. But there was a little, so the big part of me was thinking that, right? Not a bad time to be knocked out the FA Cup. I think I even said that last week. But there is a little thing sneaking up in the back of my mind that I think we've mentioned, but no one else has really mentioned. That there is a sneaky quadruple on again here.
I know the jar quadruple. I've mentioned it, yeah. But the only thing is, you know, that season when we went deeper than anyone else and closer to anyone else to doing it, they were fucking gassed though, weren't they? Do you know what I mean? They were absolutely goosed. I remember being at Wembley and it went to extra time and like they made no effort to win it. They just had nothing left at all. And so I've always been one that staunchly defends the FA Cup. I love the FA Cup. I love my memories of it. You know, 86 final is still one of my favourite moments. You know, beating Everton in the final, Ian Rush, all of that. You know, that I love that childhood memory. But, you know, we'd be lying if we said it's seen in the same way now. It's simply not. Like, you know, I remember interviewing Roger Hunt and he put winning the FA Cup right up there with winning the World Cup. Yeah. You know, it was
that's what it was like back
such
then,
a
wasn't
big
it?
deal.
Such a big deal,
and obviously Liverpool didn't win it till 65, did they? So there was all that time, you know, where they were on the end, the butter jokes basically because they hadn't won the FA Cup, and it was huge to win it. I mean, and you know, we don't even have to go back that far, do we? Like when we were growing up, it was a huge occasion, and you know, you'd had all day on the telly for the final and all that, and it was brilliant. You know, the coaches going to Wembley and everyone putting posters up in the windows and tinfoil FA Cups and all that kind of stuff. It just hasn't got that prestige now, has it?
Look, this might be me being a biased Liverpool fan, but I don't know about you. I feel like the year United didn't play in it fucked it up.
Yeah,
it was like the Joe at the time, the biggest, most powerful club in the country saying we don't value this competition made everyone sort of go, oh, is it not valuable anymore then? And I'm not sure it's ever recovered from that.
What I would say about that though is like, I think you've got to think about, you got to put yourself in the shoes of like other Liverpool fans as well. So, you know, 47-year-old man who's seen Liverpool win everything, then okay, if it starts to creep into my head, this season it's not the most important thing. If he plays a weakened side and we end up going out, one of them. But equally, like if you're a kid and you've never seen Liverpool, you know, this is your first match going season, say, and you've never been to Wembley, or you've never seen, in fact, I was talking to someone last night who's about my age and he's never seen Liverpool win at Wembley. And he said that like, I'd love to. He said, I hope we get to the League Cup final. I hope I can get a ticket. I hope I go. I hope I see us lift the trophy there. So, you know, there's like, I'm speaking and you're speaking from like a position of fortune, aren't we?
100%.
And there will be other Reds out there who've never seen that, who want to see that. And look, you know, there is no trophy that when it's wrapped up in red ribbons and it's above someone's head that you're complaining about. You know, look at West Ham winning that whatever it's called, Conference League or whatever madness. You know, everyone treats it as a bit of a joke. But I hear West Ham fans ringing into phone-ins and that all the time, and they're like, "It was what a season, what an adventure. I saw my side lift silverware, and we're not West Ham, obviously, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm torn about it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think either side is going to play full strength side. It's going to be, a reduced on both sides, and I can see it going. It can go either way, I think, with that.
Well, if they don't play a full-strength side, I think our second string could beat their second string because I think we've got a better squad than them. So we'll see. But also, I think the other side of your point there is in context is we're a two-legged semi against Fulham and a final probably against Chelsea from winning at Wembley. And I think that's the important context. Would I rather us lose against Arsenal and play rest players against Arsenal and go full strength against Fulham and make sure we get a good lead in the first leg of that game without Salah? 100% I would, because we're only two decent performances probably away from a cup.
Yeah.
You beat Fulham well at home and have an average game away and you go through. Chelsea are shit. So playing them in a final, you'd be confident we'd beat them. And then we're also I always get this wrong, we're in the last 16 of the Europa League. It's probably, and this sounds like a mad thing to say, it's probably easier to win the Europa League from here than it is to win the FA Cup from here. And which is, again, context. Winning the Europa League completes the collection for Klopp and a group of this Liverpool team,
all of these things as well are nice problems to have, aren't they?
I mean,
do you know what I mean?
Fundamentally, it comes back to the same old point, doesn't it? If you're a young Liverpool fan who's looking at us going, fucking hell, you're lucky. Well, I tell you what, young Liverpool fan, mate, you're lucky as well, because you get to be a Liverpool fan.
I was thinking, I, again, from the position of fortune of like being a season ticket holder at Liverpool, and so I go to all the home games, etc. I go to aways when I can get one, whatever. I was speaking to someone the other day and they were saying about like that, his kids are really into the game now and like they play and they love the sport and they love Liverpool. And he said like, I can't get tickets for them. Like they're desperate to go. And he said, and I feel bad about going myself now. Do you know what I mean? Because they're like, Dad, I really want to go. And he said, and because we're doing well, obviously, they're like gold dust. Like you can't get hold of them. No one's giving them up. No one's passing them on. So, again, you got to be careful about sort of just being, it's only that, or it's only that. Someone made a good point there, Red Sai, just saying like the Champions League killed the FA Cup as well, with fourth place becoming more important than the Cup. Definitely a thing that mate.
Yeah,
and also the the money they get for placements in the league and things like that. Yeah. It meant that managers started fucking around with the teams, didn't they? Yeah. And the money you get for winning the FA Cup compared to like a couple of places in the Premier League, you get more for the couple of places in the Premier League. Well, it says it all.
To be honest, mate, I hadn't even thought of that Arsenal probably play a second string on Saturday.
Yeah, now, probably will.
Or Sunday, whenever it is.
Yeah.
That's wild, isn't it? Like, when we were growing up, if Arsenal drew Liverpool in the third round of the FA Cup, neither side would think of resting a player, would they? That wouldn't even cross their mind, of playing anything other than your best team against Arsenal in the FA Cup or Liverpool in the FA Cup. Be like, no, we want to beat them. So that it shows in itself how much it's changed.
Yeah, 100%.
And it won't just be in that game that it's happening, will it, this weekend?
See, this is what I was trying to say before, and I knew this would come up, and there it is. Never mind YNWA. Nunes chat is disappointing. Why? So we can't talk about a Liverpool striker not taking chances he should take as a Liverpool striker. Come on, mate.
To be clear, someone else said before, like, I 100% think he'll come good. I really like him. I think he's... I like him. I think he's,
But it still frustrates me that he doesn't score chances that he should score.
People have got short memories. Remember when Suarez first signed?
Yeah, kept hitting the post every 5
fucking
minutes.
100 times a season. And if he'd have carried on like that, he'd have been a really frustrating striker. He didn't. He evolved and he learned how to finish better. That's what I back Nunes to do. And at the moment, it's frustrating in the same way Suarez was.
Someone sent us an article on Twitter as well, which is interesting. So Dubravka, obviously the goalie in the game yesterday, if that's all right that I call him that, by the way. The amount of things we get pulled on is mad, isn't it? Yeah, goalie apparently, wool. Fucking hell. Anyway, he said it's a frustration. He's talking about Jota. It's a frustration because he's a clever guy. I tried to pull my arms and not catch him. I felt the contact, but I don't know what else I should do. In the end, it was a penalty, so there's no point in arguing with them. With the VAR, I don't know what to say. I tried to save another penalty, but it was just a gamble. He doesn't seem that bothered by it there, then, does he? And he's literally saying there's contact.
Yeah, this is where I don't really fucking get.
So
you can see the contact though. It's not like.
So what's the fucking embarrassing bit?
Well, Eddie Howe's thing was he tried to pull his arms away. So what, mate?
I know. It still doesn't matter. Him. Yeah. Yeah, it's like, I went in 2-footed and I didn't mean to break his leg, but I did. Yeah, I mean, someone's just perfect timing there. Yus says, Robbo, we live in a world where nuance isn't allowed. Well, we try and provide a little bit of nuance on here, and hopefully you enjoy the shows. Hopefully you enjoy what we're doing. And hopefully you keep on backing it. Do click like on the show because that makes a difference. Do click subscribe on the channel because that makes a difference. Be like Malcolm and throw $4.99 in. Thanks, Malcolm.
Thank you, mate.
He says Nunes is frustration, but he'll get there. Love the show. Sending this in support of the show. Thanks very much, mate. Very much appreciated. Obviously, we have to hire this place out. There are costs involved in what we do. We try to put some free stuff out. We try to put some stuff on the Patreon and hope that you come over to Patreon and pay for that, and that helps the whole thing keep going. I've said on other shows that I'm shortly going to be starting a job. Because I need one and I've got to pay the bills, but we are going to do our level best to keep all this going. We're going to talk to the lads here. It might be a bit later at night, but we still want to keep it going, so it might not be live at 5 in a few weeks' time. It might be live at 7 or something like that, who knows, because I'll literally be working in a full-time job. But we're going to try and keep it going. So yeah, do all those things for us, please. Like it, subscribe, come over to Patreon, and spread the word as well. That helps as well. I've seen some people on Twitter before saying, like, this is a great show. Watch these lads. They've got stuck into Shearer. They've got stuck into How, all that kind of stuff. All that helps. Go on the forums. Go on Red and White Cop. Go on Twitter. Go wherever you might be and say, this show on a Monday's worth watching, because we need the numbers and we need people to support what we're doing to keep it all going. Thanks very much. Thanks for watching today. Happy New Year. Hope your resolutions go well and all that kind of malarkey. Watch our other shows as well. We're leaving it there. I need a wee. Okay, bye.